Please, can we make even more noise? Stamp your feet. Woo! Do the whole thing, yeah. Please make some noise for Daniel.
A round of applause for Eve. So, how are you guys going? Good, that's good. My name is Danimal, and look, I should probably apologise to start with, because I'm not really a comedian. I'm just here for the chicks. You know, all the babes that comedians get because they are on stage and stuff. Yeah, anyway, like it's, I guess I'm more of a storyteller than anything. Like, don't get me wrong, I would like to be a comedian, I would like to be a good comedian, I'm just not very good at the telling of the jokes. Like, I've got some examples here actually, just so I can illustrate my point. No. No. Some of these they're not even jokes, they're just words that I thought were funny, I scribbled them down. I all got chlamydia, gazpacho. I have no idea what that one is. Maybe schnitzelpufter? Oh no, here's a joke. Here, so I'll try and show you what I mean. Knock knock. Who's that? Your mama. Your mama's fucking fat. See, it's just not very good. Oh, why did the chicken cross the road? Because your mama was chasing it. So I'm just not very good at. So I might just stick to the storytelling, if that's okay. It might not be funny, but at least it won't be tediously tragic either. So I got into trouble with the law the other day. And I don't mean to, but as an adult, I seem to have really bad luck when it comes to dealing with the law. It was different when I was small. Smaller. A kid. It was different when I was a kid. As far back as I can remember, I was always getting up to some kind of mischief. But I didn't actually start breaking the law till I was about 5. I started small, no pun intended, and with like a bit of identity theft here and there, and it escalated quickly to armed robberies, and before I hit puberty, I was committing genocide like it was going out of fashion. No, I'm kidding, obviously. Hey, I might have just told a joke. But no, from the age of 5, I came from a family of modest means. We were poor, and I was the eldest of 4 kids. My dad worked hard as a teacher, my mum worked hard in the house, but there was never much money to go around. But I was a fairly bright kid, and I realised from an early age that if I helped myself to certain things when people weren't looking, you know, being poor wouldn't make so much of a difference because I could still live in relative comfort. And as a kid, I was sharp, I was lucky, and I was charming. I got away with pretty much everything, I think. Like, I could have talked the pants off a llama if I wanted to. It's a new expression I'm trying to coin, by the way. And so for better or worse, I was really lucky. I had some close calls, but I never actually got caught. And I had 2 good Catholic parents who kept trying to yank me back in the right direction, like someone trying to yank the pants off a llama, so to speak. And they told me these horror stories of kids that would start stealing early on and then grow up and end up in jail as adults, but I always thought I was too smart and too lucky to worry about stuff like that. But the thing about luck is that it changes, and when I turned 16, my luck changed drastically, as if it was trying to make up for all the good luck I'd accrued up until then. You see, I was working at this fast food chicken shop out the back, and I'm sure you guys can remember your first jobs. And the work was foul, and the stench was foul, and the owner was foul too. He was this short, podgy Korean man in his 50s, and he smoked incessantly, and he drank, and he gambled at the shop, and he didn't treat his employees very well either. And so it wasn't hard to come up with a justification for robbing him. Because, you see, I might have been a thief, but I was at least an honest thief. A good thief, you know, like the one who was crucified next to Jesus. That's a really comforting thought. But I always only tried to steal from people who could afford it. So like corporations, department stores, churches, and unpleasant employers like Hanky. That's right, that was his name, Mr. Hanky, just like the Christmas poo in South Park. And so I got up one morning and I went up the road and I broke into the place and I found about $200 in coins in the till. And I came back home, heart pounding, and the kitchen light was on, which was strange. And so I ditched the cash across the street and I went inside. My mum was awake, she was in the kitchen, which was also strange. And I said, I'd just been down at the park doing some rugby training before school, because I do that sometimes. And then I pretended that I'd forgotten something outside. So I went back outside and bent down, and in this dimly lit suburban back street at 5 a.m, as I'm bending down to pick up the cash, this car pulls up and this torch flashes on, and this voice calls out, "Hey, what are you doing over there?" There's an unmarked police car, and they just happened to be at exactly the right point, at exactly the right time. And so I confessed everything straight away. And when they brought me into the house, into the kitchen in handcuffs, hands down, and the look on my mum's face, hands down one of the worst moments in my entire life. Oh fuck, I'm supposed to be doing comedy up here, sorry. I'll try and be funnier. So I gave up on my life of crime and deception then and there, and then I took it back up again a few years later, but that was purely for professional reasons. Of course, yes. And then when I gave up practicing law, I was able to leave all that nasty stuff behind me once and for all. But ever since that morning, I just have bad luck with the police. Like, and I don't do anything that's wrong these days either, and not too much that's illegal. But in Sydney a few years back, I got pulled over for looking at a police car. This brand new shiny riot squad 4-wheel drive goes past me. I sort of glance at it, and then I hear sirens in the back, and the policeman who pulls me over goes, "Oh, we saw you looking at our car." What am I supposed to say to that? Okay. But my point is, for whatever reason, as an adult, and I use that term very loosely, I seem to attract police like a VD clinic attracts hookers. And don't get me wrong, I like police, some of them at least. But what I really like is that feeling of being safe, when lots of police are around, you know, that's just a great feeling, isn't it? That you feel warm and snug, secure, and all fuzzy on the inside. I just can't get enough of it. And there are so many police around these days that I walk out of my front door and I feel safe. I walk up the road and I feel safe. I walk down to the shops and there are police and cameras and security guards everywhere, and occasionally there's some military soldier walking through the women's department with a submachine gun and a menopausal look in her eye. And I feel safe. But sometimes I think I can feel a little more safe. Like, crime still happens every day, bad stuff still happens in the world. So I wonder, do we need more authority figures in public? I mean, in France, for instance, all you really have are the national police and the national gendarmes. And there's the military and paramilitary forces too, of course. And the Secret Service, the DGSE. And there's also the General Directorate for Internal Security and the Directorate General for Customs and Indirect Taxes. You have judicial tax officers, which are often called the Directorate General for Public Finance. There's the National Forest Office, which regulates forest degradation and polices pollution and poaching. And of course, you've got the French Biodiversity Office, the penal systems, the General Directorate for the Maritime and Fisheries and Aquaculture. And who can forget the Railway Security Agencies, the Municipal Police, the Rural Guards, the Public Surveillance Officers, the Coastal Protection Agencies, the French Nature Reserves, and the French Private Guards, whoever the fuck they are. Thank you. So, when you've only got all that to protect you, I mean, how can you feel really safe? I think there should be more cameras everywhere. I think I think it feels like there are a lot, but there's still a lot of places where there's not, surveillance and people can still get away with dodgy shit. I can see a day where babies are accessorized with like surgically implanted GoPros. And I see a day in the not too distant future when we can keep track of everything that everyone is doing all the time, day and night, without exception. Wouldn't that be a wonderfully safe place to live? What a wonderfully safe place to live. And I believe in this, Jim. It's actually how I got into trouble with the law the other day, sort of brings me back to my point. See, I was at the station, and there were a whole lot of police at the station, and they were all helping some young African kid who was lying on the ground. And he must have needed a lot of help because there were a lot of police there helping him. Thank goodness. But wouldn't you know it, there were no cameras in the place where they were helping him. So I thought, this is my chance. Now I can finally give something back. I can help the police while they're helping somebody else by filming them to keep them safe. And so I got out my phone and started to film them, but I couldn't get a very good angle. So I put my phone away and walked across to the other platform. And as I approached them, I pulled my phone out of my back pocket. Before I go on, just a teeny weeny little piece of advice. If you're ever approaching police and they are actively engaged in a situation, especially if they have their backs to you, do not, I repeat, do not under any circumstances pull fucking anything out of any pocket. Especially your back one. And after several seconds of panicked screaming and gunshots, after several large, no doubt donut-enhanced police had knocked the wind out of me, and after a very awkward moment where I panicked and did everything in my pants in about half a second it's possible to do in your pants, I can tell you, I wasn't feeling very safe. And the police didn't seem like they were feeling very safe either. Especially not the screaming ones. And the only person who did seem to feel safe was the young African kid who took the opportunity to get up and leg it out of there while the police were distracted with me. And wherever that kid is tonight, I hope he still feels safe. So thank you so much, you guys have been amazing. Have a really good night. Please make lots and lots and lots of noise for Joanna!